Hello out there. This is Mr. Dokulu and welcome to this video where I'm just discussing the thoughts of what is it that composes or influences my thinking process and what it can be like if this thinking process was put down on paper per se as maybe some sort of a football team. And so I wrote up a football pitch because I'm a football lover, and to just like ensure that I get the point across of what my thinking is influenced by and what maybe others can be influenced by, and somehow what I would recommend. And so uh, football is a team sport, a sport which is based on 11 men on a pitch. And so if you have a football team that you assemble, you have 11 individuals. And yeah, it's also a women's sport. So it will be 11 individuals or 11 men or 11 women, depending on the gender of the team, if it's a women team or male team. So if thinking was a sport, if thinking was a football team, here's how I would pick my team in terms of thought leaders in that really influence how I make decisions and decide on how I approach life and the thoughts that come to me in approaching generally life and doing many activities, organization building, business, marriage, and so many things, personal work and so on. So here's my list of thought leaders, and I put it on the football pitch. And I'll go more into details on that, but here's how my starting 11 starts, like with the goalkeeper being Sadhguru, an Indian master of thought, I think, from my perspective, a man who dives deep into thoughts about humanity and people finding their humanity. And this is a very important man to listen to, in the sense that he clarifies so many things that we are missing today in humanity, and that if we thought better about them, we would do better. And so for me, Sadhguruji is similar to a goalkeeper because he's there and his thoughts are there working for the whole of humanity. And so that's why I would say he makes one of the best thinkers that really influences my mind. And so then playing a 4-3-3 formation is what I would pick. And so in my thought process, I would have the back four, which would have Donald Trump and Dan Penna as my number 4-5, and as central defenders, because I think these are gentlemen who are thought leaders, who are not afraid to speak up, and it's important to speak up when you know something. They impress upon me men who know what it is they stand for, and they have the confidence to stand up for what it is that they stand for. And so Trump and Dan Penna really in business thinking and in political thought, specifically for Donald Trump, I would say these are superb individuals to actually follow and see how they've succeeded and how they've come up with. And I think the real gem with them is really how they think and operate. And so that would be my center backs. My wing backs would be these mentees of Dan Penna, Dan Locke, very exceptional, especially when it comes to sales. I think for me, sales is something that cuts across life, and so I've done Locke and Jason Capital in the wing back positions because I think sales is life itself. You sell when you're talking to somebody, you're selling. I'm selling these ideas to you right now, and so sales is the name of the game. You've got to sell your ideas, let them be known, let people buy in, and that's where still going back to Trump and Pena, especially Trump. I think he sells his ideas in a unique way, and people buy in and they buy in strongly. When they buy into a Trump idea, they never leave. They're loyal to the death. Now that's sales. So yeah, that's how I would set up my backline or my back four. Then in midfield, the holding midfield, Tony Robbins, I think this is very respected thinker for me, especially in life, well-being, business thought, and so many other things. I would say his most influential work to me was his work on Money Master the Game, and Tony Robbins just lays out the money game and principles that go around building wealth, which is, I think, very important to the personal development and growth of any human being. So, and their stability, financial stability, per se, is very important in the overall stability of a human being in general. And so I'd have Tony Robbins in the holding midfield position, and specifically because he's so energetic. He puts out his message with energy. Tony Robbins in a room is so unplayable. He's got presence, and so yeah, I would have Tony Robbins in that midfield, and so then as a holding midfielder, then I would have my number 7, 11 kind of midfielders with Alvin Eroth, whose work in Who Gets What and Why was just outstanding, because it's a book that really amazed me, and on how we should look at life in general and how things actually match up, and even how marriage works out, how if you're looking for stuff even on the internet, when you kind of Google something or type in, it's really matching you to something. And so matchmaking, I think, is a very important aspect of our lives, because we're trying to match ourselves to our dreams and the objectives we're trying to achieve. And so Alvin Eroth tells of who is going to be in a position to get what they're trying to get. So it's all about matching, and so you should read the book. It's a great piece of work, and it reads more than one way than just economics, but life in general, business, ambition, and overall success. Then also to complete that midfield three, I would have Robbie Kelman Baxter. The only woman on my team. I think she does a great job in her work on the membership economy, because she goes deep in how generally all of us as humans, we want to belong, and how that belonging is useful in ensuring that you have people follow you or your business and be attached to it to a very deep extent, and feel part of a community more than sales. It is community building around service and what people really desire. So That would be my take on Robbie Kelman Baxter. And the front three would be made up of Ray Dalio, uh, Gary V, Gary V, Jordan Peterson. So that would be my three: Ray Dalio, Gary V, Jordan Peterson as a front three. Jordan Peterson, very clear thinker. I think his work in clinical psychology and the way he just explains his findings and how they apply to reality and are something that kind of ensures that you have clarity of mind. When you listen to Jordan Peterson, you get clear about something you might not have been clear about, and he just clarifies and clarifies and clarifies. He's just pure clarity in his work. And so, and what also impresses me about him is his depth also on Christianity and Catholicism specifically, being a Catholic myself. So Jordan Peterson is a fantastic guy with fantastic work. So I listened to him and his thoughts, and yet to read his works, but an amazing, outstanding human being. Is one to really make as a thought influencer in your life in general, especially for the 21st century and this period of the 2020s. Then another outstanding, extraordinary persona in the form of Gary Vaynerchuk. For those that know him or follow him, he's wonderful and fantastic. His work on general giving and the application of giving and the application of gratitude and the application of just this candor, as he puts it, is so life-giving in business and organizational thought, and also in personal life. And he's comes out to be someone who I think influences the overall thought, and especially when he talks about patience, and his work is just so inspiring, and someone to really check out and put up there and get some well crafted knowledge on basically life, patience, gratitude, giving. And his book Jab Jab Right Hook is a personal favorite of mine. So Gary Vee, ladies and gentlemen, is one to really, really, really consider. And last but not the least, to complete my front three would be Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio's work on idea meritocracy has deeply influenced me to a level where I'm literally basing a lot of the organizations that I'm going to try to build across my life around the principle of the idea meritocracy, because it is so well thought out and it is so practical in the sense that it has been tried out. And so Ray Dalio is just a practical human being and a humble human being. Humility also transcends to also Gary Vee. Yeah. And Ray Dalio just also kind of multiplies on that. The humility that he puts out is just amazing. And so an amazing human being, and someone who whose work in his book Principles is just amazing, and something to put into one's mind and thought if you're going to grow and grow successfully. So that would be my starting 11: Sadhguru G in Go, Trump and Dan Pena sorry, as the center backs, Jason Capito, wing back, Dan Locke also wing back, Robbie coming back, Jordan Robbins and Alvin Eroth in the midfield. Ray Dalio is part of the front three with Gary V and Jordan Peterson. And these are not to say are the only thinkers that come to my mind, but I think this would be my top 11. The main that should be on this list, but are not. Robert Kiyosaki rings in as one. Of course, Bishop Barron also rings up as one, and of course the greats, the old timers, Napoleon Hill, Jim Rohn, exemplary thoughts there on that bench, and I think they would make my bench. But Bishop Barron would make a good coach, and so would Robert Kiyosaki, and so there's so many thinkers out there, but these are people you should really put into thought as people that can influence and should influence your thought to make you a better person. So this is the end of my video, and thank you for watching. See you soon.